The Mongols Motorcycle Club and the Norteno Street Gang have more in common than you may know. See, each gang was formed in the late 1960s as a direct response to groups that viewed them as lesser than. The Mongols were formed in 1969 as a perceived threat to the Hells Angels, who would not allow non-white members. The Norteno Street Gang was formed in 1968 as a response to the perceived dominance and abuse of the Mexican Mafia, also known as La M. Fast forward some 43 to 44 years, outside of a nightclub in Los Banos, California. The club was known as Club Azul, and it was early morning on August 7th, 2011, when two Mongol Motorcycle Club gang members, 30-year-old Angel Rodriguez and 34-year-old Ruben Sanchez, were found shot to death in an alley near the club. Authorities, after some investigation, would identify two twin brothers and Norteno Street Gang members, Mando and Armando Lopez, as the perceived shooters. Soon, 3 more co-conspirators were identified, and all 5 would be rounded up and charged with the murders of Angel Rodriguez and Ruben Sanchez.
Penny, I was the former national president.
A number of Mongol motorcycle gang members have pleaded guilty. They're accused of being part of a violent criminal organization and committing crimes including murder and drug trafficking. The charges stem from an indictment against 79 members arrested last October.
You're talking homicides, narcotics, some extremely violent individuals who are taken off the street today.
The investigation, dubbed Operation Black Rain, was 3 years in the making and relied on the work of undercover agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
We believe it puts a stake in the heart of the Mongols.
On Tuesday, a judge granted a request by federal prosecutors to seal all plea agreements. That's for fear the defendants could face retaliation by other Mongol members or other gangs. It's unclear how many defendants entered a plea, but the judge ruled any further sealed plea agreements must show evidence that a defendant has been threatened. Mike Gracia, The Associated Press.
We have state.
Gathered in a large conference room, behind tables holding a variety of guns and large bags of drugs, law enforcement agencies announced the results of an 18-month investigation.
No fentanyl in our town. No gang violence on our streets. No murderers are going to get away with what they thought they were going to get away with.
Operation Red Rooster began with a gang-related homicide and attempted homicide in Livingston in 2022. Police arrested one suspected shooter, but another remained free. During that time, the Merced Area Gang and Narcotic Enforcement Team, local city and county law enforcement agencies, the FBI, and California Department of Justice worked in collaboration to investigate the responsible gang and their work in Merced County. On Thursday morning, those law enforcement partners descended on dozens of locations across the county, seizing more than 60 pounds of illegal drugs and nearly 30 guns. They also arrested 41 people, including Freddie Hernandez, who authorities say is responsible for the 2022 homicide in Livingston.
It's very good, fulfilling to know that there's other agencies that you can reach out to when you don't have the resources. I mean, even this operation of this magnitude, even our local agencies, Merced County, didn't have resources.
No one was injured during the sweep, but Sheriff Vern Warnke says it took force in some cases.
We meant business. We had one individual in a local city in Merced County that barricaded himself, and an adjoining agency SWAT team went in, and they had to use a significant amount of force to get him out.
Action News was told officers and agents are still investigating and collecting more evidence Thursday night, and that we can expect more arrests and developments as this investigation continues. In Atwater, Kate Nemrich, ABC 30, Action News.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. It means a lot that you are here. Really quick, before we jump into it, let's do the intro, and then we'll get it rolling. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. It really does mean a lot that you are here checking this out. And if you do like it, go back and check out some of my other videos, some of my other content, and let me know what you think. If you are a returning member, individual viewer to this channel, thank you. Really, guys, I'm truly humbled. We hit 19,000 subscribers last week. That is all because of you guys. Seriously, you guys have no idea. I'm go, go, go all the time. I don't ever seem to stop, slow down. But when I do have a chance to reflect and think about this YouTube journey as a whole and where I started, I still have a long, long way to go. I still got a long way to go in the editing process and just my channel as a whole. But you guys have made this fun. You guys have made this amazing. The support, again, means everything. So thank you. Lastly, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the comment button, engage in some conversation, and please do subscribe because, again, I'm nothing without you guys' support. Thank you. All right, guys, so we're going to be going to Los Banos, California today. Changing it up a little bit. We're not going to be covering an in-prison murder, but we are sticking within the state of California. Los Banos is located in Merced County, basically in the San Joaquin Valley, Central California area. This is from very end, like the last 2 days of 2011, is kind of where we're going to pick up on this story. We're going to be covering the murder of two Mongols Motorcycle Club gang members and the Norteno gang members that were involved in this, including a set of twins, one of which was the trigger puller. So this is from an article on December 29th, 2011. Kind of just pick right up here. Twin brothers accused of killing two Mongols outlaw motorcycle gang members outside a Los Banos nightclub have been arrested in Las Cruces, New Mexico, the U.S. Marshal Service said. On Wednesday, Deputy U.S. Marshals and Las Cruces police officers arrested 22-year-old Armando Lopez. Investigators believe the brothers killed 30-year-old Angel Rodriguez and 34-year-old Ruben Sanchez outside Club Azul on August 7th. That's 2011. Authorities say the brothers are gang members. They say they have both lengthy criminal histories, including numerous weapons charges, possession of controlled substances, and charges relating to their involvement in a criminal street gang. They're Norteños. They're active. They're supposed to be active. You're going to be putting in work. 22, you're damn near a vet. A lot of times by the time you're 22, you've got multiple bodies. You might have already been to prison and been out. You've probably done time in the California Youth Authority, so it just kind of is what it is. But again, what makes this story so fascinating is that they killed two Mongols Motorcycle Club gang members. And like you talked about in the intro, I didn't know this until I jumped into this story, but both of these gangs' histories are somewhat similar. The Mongols were developed out of basically they were their members, because they weren't white, were looked down upon, looked lesser than by the Hells Angels. Similar with the Norteños, they were Northern Hispanics. They were looked down upon and treated badly by Southern Hispanics, which became Sureños and ultimately the Mexican Mafia. The Mongols, 1969. The Norteños, 1968, is when their history kind of first dates back to. So I just think it's kind of interesting that both of these gangs have very similar sort of come-up stories around the same time frame. The U.S. Marshal Service says the brothers were living in Las Cruces since November. Both were booked into the jail and would be brought back to California. Los Banos police are still searching for two people wanted in connection with the murders, 27-year-old Joe Castillo and 21-year-old Francisco Esquivel, both of Los Banos. Police say both men are gang members and should be considered armed and dangerous. They ended up picking up a third one as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. And that guy's name was Isaac Bermea. Okay, and this is just a few days later on January 4th. Now this is 2012. A total of 5 people have now been arrested in connection with the double murder in the North Valley. Los Banos police say 21-year-old Francisco Esquivel, 26-year-old Joe Castillo, and 19-year-old Isaac Bermea were arrested this week. Esquivel turned himself in at the Los Banos Police Department on Sunday, and Castillo was arrested by the U.S. Marshal Service on Tuesday in San Jose. Bermea is currently in custody at the John La Torraca Correctional Facility on unrelated probation violation charges. Mando and Armando Lopez, those are the twins, both 22, were arrested last week by U.S. Marshals in New Mexico. On August 7th, 30-year-old Angel Rodriguez and 34-year-old Ruben Sanchez were found shot to death in an alley near Club Azul. Police say the men were Mongols Outlaw Motorcycle Club gang members. Castillo, Esquivel, and Bermea are being held in lieu of $2.2 million bail on charges of murder or participating in a criminal street gang. Mando and Armando Lopez are each being held on charges of murder or participating in a criminal street gang, as well as firearm and prior felony conviction enhancements. Both were being held in or on $2 million bail. Now, fast forward. This is from the law offices of some of the lawyers that represented the individuals in this case. And it's kind of crazy how it played out. The case of 5 defendants accused of killing 2 men outside Club Azul nightclub in Los Banos has come to a close, as all of the defendants have accepted plea agreements with the Merced County District Attorney's Office. Prosecutors say the victims, Angel Rodriguez, 30, and Ruben Sanchez, 34, were members of the Mongols Motorcycles bicycle gang, while the defendants are members of the Norteno street gang. And I said that wrong. A motorcycle club, a motorcycle gang. The accused shooter in the case So this is the actual shooter. That's Mando Lopez. I put his name up with the caption that he is the shooter. 22 will be sentenced to 21 years in prison after pleading no contest Monday afternoon to 2 counts of voluntary manslaughter with an enhancement for using a gun. So he got off on voluntary manslaughter. So at 22, he gets sentenced to 21 years in state. He may be out in his 30s, so getting off, I feel like pretty light, especially because they said in that first article that we read that they already had violent felony convictions and a pretty dark history as it went back. He'll be eligible for parole after serving about 18 years in prison, according to Deputy District Attorney David Elgin. So 18, so he'll be 40. Mando Lopez's twin brother, Armando Lopez, along with defendants Joe Castillo, Francisco Esquivel, pled no contest to accessory after the fact and a second charge of active participation in a criminal street gang. They were released from the jail with credit for time served. The fifth suspect, Isaac Bermea, 19, pled no contest to accessory after the fact with a prior strike. He was sentenced to 32 months in prison, but was released with credit for time served. The double homicide took place at around 2 a.m. August 7th, 2011 in an alley near the nightclub after an altercation between the gangs. But it was still kind of unknown what sparked the conflict. They still really don't know. I wasn't able to find anything that definitively said this is what happened. I'm going to kind of go with you've got younger gang members, because remember, the victims are in their 30s. You've got younger Norteno gang members. They're violent. Sometimes you can't judge somebody just by a picture, but when you see the picture of Armando and Mando Lopez, they look violent. They look mean. They're definitely, if they're trying to give off that look, they're passing. They're definitely giving that off. And yeah, a couple words get said. They're young guys. They're going to just look for any opportunity to cause a problem. And if you say the wrong thing to them, they're going to be carrying guns, and yeah, they're going to shoot you. It's 2 a.m. in an alley behind a club. Stuff like that happens. Elgin said the prosecution reached plea agreements with defendants, so this is kind of why they got off so lenient. He said these were the several factors. For example, Elgin, this is the prosecutor, said the witnesses were all aligned with one gang or the other and gave contradictory and biased statements. He said the video of surveillance footage in the case wasn't particularly useful because the cameras did not capture crucial moments of the incident. Still, Elgin said DNA linked to the Lopez brothers was found on the gun used in the shootings. Investigators determined Mando Lopez was the shooter based on a clothing description and other information which eliminated Armando Lopez as the triggerman. Quote, because of the way the facts were in this case, I believe that we got a just result, Elgin said. Tom Fife, Mando Lopez's attorney, was reached on Tuesday but declined to comment and just continued the claim of innocence. So, yeah, guys, just interesting story. So I want to bring it to you guys. That's what I'll always be doing, bringing you guys things that I like, things that I think you guys will enjoy. Always working to find the video clips. That sometimes is the most challenging part of this format that I do, is finding video clips to tie in, because some of these stories, if they're older than like 2014, 2013, sometimes they're really hard to find news clips to go with. But again, appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the support, and until next time, you already know what it is. Peace.